YouTube, what's going on with you people? JMV back at y'all again with a video that I was planning on making regardless, but I have more incentive to make this video. I'll get into that in a second. I'm currently on my way up to the Pittston terminal, about 2.5 hours out. Damn, that shit is annoying. The most annoying things about these trucks is that lane assist or whatever it's called, because it just goes off for no reason. Anyways, so yeah, I'm on my way up to Pittston. Reason being, I was contacted via social media by a student who was currently in his TNT and at the time on a truck with a trainer whom he was not comfortable with. So long story short, I'm on my way to pick him up. You know, we messaged back and forth, and I pretty much told him, you know, he asked if I wouldn't mind bringing him on my truck so he can finish out his last 15,000 miles. So I told him, that's cool, you can go ahead, you know, as long as everybody sign off on it, you know, I'll pick you up and we can get to moving. Which brings me to the purpose of this video, which, like I said, I was gonna make a video about this topic anyways, but you know, what it takes to be a trainer and to be a successful trainer. Because here you have a student who, and let's just preface this by saying everybody is not going to get along. People, you know, everybody's not compatible. And just to be honest, everybody doesn't need to be a trainer. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't really care about helping out and preparing a new driver to get out here on the road on their own, then, you know, kill yourself. Like, what are you doing? Like, obviously you're just doing it for the money. And like I've said before, and I stand by it, the number one reason that anybody trains is the increased revenue. It's because you're going to make more money. That's the number one reason. But if that is the sole reason for you training, then yeah, go ahead and kill yourself, man. You're useless right now, because all you're doing is you're trying to just, what's the saying? Go through the motions. You're just trying to go through the motions. You know, keep a student on your truck as long as they need to be on there, basically until they accomplish their miles. You know, double your profits and kick them off without having thoroughly or even minimally prepared them to get out here on their own. So, you know, we've all heard these horror stories about trainers and how, you know, of course, the hygiene and just being dirty, filthy dudes. But we've heard the stories about trainers who just don't train. You're essentially they're just using you like a indentured servant so that they can make more money. And people like that need to just go ahead, give up the ghost, and just ride solo. But so yeah, the topic of this video is obviously, you know, what I believe it takes to be a successful trainer. Now, of course, this is all based on my opinion, via my experiences as a trainee for my 15,000 miles as a TNT student, and obviously as a trainer, having just gotten through training Myron for 40,000 miles, whom Myron is actually up at the Pittston terminal right now. So I'm gonna run into him up there, chop it up with him for a little bit, probably make a quick video with him. He's been out on his own for about 2 weeks now. See how things going with him, but that's another video right there. So, like I said, the student I'm getting ready to pick up now, I'll let him, if he wants to, tell his story, because he is a subscriber. That's how he got my social media information and was able to contact me. So, him and his trainer wasn't getting along. He didn't feel comfortable in the truck. There could be several reasons for that. I got a pretty good idea on what I think it is, but you know, I won't speculate. So for me, I think that being a trainer it boils down to a couple of things, a couple of characteristics, a couple of traits that I feel like you need to possess in order to be a successful trainer and to push out prepared students or drivers, because once they get the truck, they are at that point they're a driver, to push out prepared and productive students or drivers. You got to be patient. That's probably number one with me. You got to be patient, and you got to be willing to work with them through the ups and downs. Everybody is not going to pick everything up at lightning speed. You know, you're going to have some students who pick up on one aspect of the job like nothing, like a knife through butter, but then they're going to struggle with another aspect. So, for example, being obviously back end is the hardest thing. You might have a student that picks up on the back end like that, snap of a finger, but he's struggling, he or she struggles to understand how to work the Qualcomm or something like that. You may have a student who, which is going to be more than likely the case, struggles with the back end initially, but they drive the truck, they're able to maintain and handle the truck with no problem. They don't have a problem making turns, they don't have a problem handling the vehicle, driving on the highway, driving in cities and things like that. So everybody learns at different rates, at different paces. So you got to be patient and willing to continue to work with them. You got to be patient, you got to be consistent. I believe you got to be able to empathize or put yourself into their shoes and see things from their perspective, because we were all once new drivers, we were all once trainees. And I think some people get out here and maybe they picked up on things quick. Me personally, I picked up on it quick. This kind of came like second nature to me, you know. So I picked up on driving the truck quick. I'm in automatic now, but when I got my CDL, I was driving at 10 speed. I figured out how to double clutch and all that stuff really quick. And my personal experience was I was pretty much thrown into the fire because I had like some brief training after I got the Class A. Because those of y'all that don't know, I actually got my Class B license first, like a smart guy. I drove a straight truck or a side loader truck for about 8 months. Then I went back and got my A license when a position opened up at the company I was with to drive the tractor trailers. They kind of just threw me out there. They had me ride with a trainer or with another driver. After we had done our routes, ride around, shifting everything. But basically, I got into my own truck and I figured out shifting on my own. I figured out backing on my own. You know, so I think people forget about that. Like, you were once in their shoes. You got to be able to put yourself back into their shoes and not be frustrated. Like, man, why is it so difficult? Because it's easy for you now, but you got to remember, maybe, you know, however long ago it was, and you were just, you know, wet behind the ears, fresh out of class. How long did it take you to get the backing down? How long did it take you to understand how to approach certain turns? How long did it take you to pick up on just life on the road? Because that's really what TNT training is about. You know, you make sure they're ready to drive the truck, make sure they understand the procedures, but you got to make sure that they're comfortable with and understand life on the road. So being patient, probably number one. You know, being able to find ways to best get the information that you're trying to get to them across to them. You got to find ways to relate to them. You know, so like I said, it's gonna be different rates of learning for everybody. Everybody's different. You know, students, we're all individuals, we're all human beings. We all learn at different rates. And you might have a student that picks up on the back end and is pretty good with the back end in week one. You might have a student that doesn't really get comfortable with the back end until a week or two before he's ready to upgrade as far as his miles go, he or she. You know, that's just life. That's life in anything, in any field of career field or whatever. So you got to be able to work with them, be patient, and be consistent. You know, it'll eventually click. That's what I told Myron. It will eventually click. You might get things worked out in the first couple weeks in your training process. You might get it worked out in the last couple weeks of your training process. You might not really get it worked out until you get out on your own. But eventually it's going to click. And I think that the main purpose of a trainer is to build a solid foundation for the student to build upon once they get on their own. You need to be able to do the basics so that you can get out here and do the job on your own. So while you're in training, you know, like I said before, some people will pick it up fast, some people won't. But if you're able, as long as you're able to get that trailer into a dock, we always talk about bagging because that's the hardest part of driving, or the most difficult part to pick up on. It might take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it might take you 6, 7 pull-ups, but if you can get it in there without hitting anything, then there's your foundation. And as a student, as a trainee, when you get on your own, that's your foundation to build upon. So once you get on your own, you'll be able to look at yourself without somebody else looking at you, without a safety valve of saying, I'm frustrated, I'm just gonna get out the seat. Let the trainer get the truck in there so we can get loaded or unloaded and get back on the road. When you're by yourself and you gotta do it on your own, you'll start to find different things and different ways that'll work for you so that you're able to basically, for lack of better words, perfect your craft, you know, improve upon the current situation or position you were in that given aspect of the job. So, for example, I ran into one of my subscribers, a dude named Tommy. I actually ran into him back when I was at the Springfield terminal picking up Myron and going through the training course to become a trainer. He was up there. We chopped it up several times, and I actually ran into him yesterday at a Love's and somewhere in Ohio. We was both getting fuel. He out there in the crispy 2018 International. That joint was nice. I was real salty when I climbed up in there, but that's another topic. Shout out to Tommy, man. Good dude out here doing his thing, man. But one of the things he told me, which relates to what I was just talking about, was when he was in his training, he felt comfortable backing, but it wasn't until he got on his own, and he's been on his own for going on 3 months now. It wasn't until he got on here on his own where he had no choice. He didn't have anybody to walk him through it, to possibly take over and do it for him. It wasn't until he got out here on his own that he really got comfortable and it really clicked for him as far as backing. And now he's got my tongue, got tongue tied, whatever. He's become confident in his ability to back up, and he hasn't had a problem. So that just goes, that's a credit to what I was just saying, that, you know, it eventually clicks, but I think that you need to get out here on your own to really grasp what it is that you're doing. So yeah, patience, consistency, being able to put yourself in their shoes and not get heated at them because they're not picking up as fast as you want them to. Maybe it's not them, maybe it's you. You know, so I guess another point of this video and the topic is everybody is not meant to be a trainer. If you're really impatient, you know, you're really hot-headed, you're not willing to work with somebody, maybe you shouldn't do it. You know, most of us, the biggest draw is the money. Is you're gonna make more money. You're gonna almost, in most cases, double what it is that you were making driving solo when you start training. Maybe even triple it. But you know, with that increase in revenue comes the responsibility of making sure that you're doing your job as a trainer to prepare this trainee to get out here on the road on their own, be safe, be productive, and just get the job done. You know, be efficient. You're putting them out, you're basically co-signing that they're ready. They're gonna be on this road, on these highways, sharing the road with people's families, with your family potentially, with you. If you haven't gotten them to the point where you're comfortable with them and where you know that they can do the job and be successful and be safe, then you failed as a trainer. If all you want to do is put them behind the steering wheel and have them drive straight down the interstate, and when it comes time to do the other more essential parts of the job, you don't really care to teach them or show them, and you just take over. I'll back it in. You just drive straight. When we get to the shipper or receiver, I'll do the back. Well, how are you helping them? They got to be able to do that when they get on their own. But you got a lot of people that don't care about that. All they care about is getting their money. And when you get on your own, then you can figure it out. And to them, I reiterate, like I said earlier in the video, kill yourself. You are just worthless. People like that, trainers like that are worthless. So, this video went on for 15 minutes. It shouldn't have been this long. I'm going to go ahead and end it there, man. You know, that's just my view on what it takes and what you need to be able to do to be a successful trainer, to push out successful, productive, and safe trainees into this industry. And I mean, obviously it's more than that, just that. But those like the main things that came to mind for me, especially after speaking with the guy that I'm getting ready to pick up now, and his experience with being on the truck with a trainer who he was not comfortable with, which means the trainer didn't put forth effort in making him comfortable and doing what it is that he should have done as a trainer to provide to do his best to provide the type of environment where the trainee, the student, can feel comfortable so that he or she can learn and progress as quickly as possible. Because before I end this video, if you were one of the trainers whom are just using the students to drive a shift and not really teach them about being on the road, about backing, about all the other aspects of the job, you just want them to drive straight down the road and you don't really care about their well-being, they're going to pick up on that. And you're going to end up in a situation like the student I'm picking up now, where they're just going to get off your truck. Man, people aren't dumb. We're all adults. They can pick up on it. He or she is going to be able to pick up on the fact that this guy doesn't care about me. This person doesn't care about me getting better at the job, and they don't care about preparing me to get out here on my own so that I can be productive and safe and do the job correctly and provide for myself and my family. They're going to pick up on that. And then they're going to resent you, and you're going to have problems. They're going to butt heads. And eventually they're going to remove themselves from your truck, and now you're back to, if your main goal is making that money with them on the truck, and then they remove themselves from your truck, then you're back at square one again. So, but with that said, man, we'll go ahead and end this video. As always, man, appreciate y'all rocking with me. For those of y'all who watch my video, if you're not subscribed, if you feel like subscribing, I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and click that button. But that's obviously your decision. Anyhow, go ahead and cut this short, or cut it off because damn sure ain't short. Until next time, people, as always, y'all know what it is. Y'all be easy.